So you finally took the plunge this summer and installed that pool that you've been wanting for years. But now you're finding out there's a lot of work to keep a pool clean. Man, have I got something for you. This is my review of the Aiper Surfer S2, starting from my first use all the way up to my thoughts after a couple months of use.
What's up, guys? My name is Matt, and this is a brand new channel for me. I appreciate you guys stopping in. I do have another channel where I do RC car related reviews, and I've been doing that for about 5 years now, have a blast with it, but I always find myself making videos on items like this, even though I'm not gonna post them to the RC channel. I try to keep that more RC related, but I love giving a good, fair, honest review for anybody looking to spend their hard-earned money. But let's get right to it. You guys are here to check out the Aiper Surfer S2. Now you'll notice this is wet. That's because I have not stopped using this since I got my hands on it. Now initially I did charge this with the wall charger. That's one of the things that really led me to this model, is I liked the dual charging feature. So it charges itself during the day in the sun with this solar panel. And it also comes with the charger that you can plug into the wall and charge it to 100% or whatever. Because usually during the day, while it's running in the sun, it's only going to charge up to about 96, 98% is what I've noticed. So starting with the 100% on the initial charge, I came home after work. I worked the night shift, came home, and this thing was down around 73, 75%. So it used like 25% of the battery life. Sun was out, it was back to charging. So I was pretty amazed with that, actually. Running 9 to 10, it was about 10 hours, and only using like 25% of the battery. That's amazing. Now, the initial charge was the only time I've used the wall charger. After that, I've just let it charge off of the sun while it's running throughout the day. So normally it gets up around 97, 98% charge, I would say, throughout the day. Then the sun goes down and it works throughout the night. Usually when I come in or I go check it in the morning, it's down around 65 to 70%, somewhere in there, which is actually really good. I think this thing is supposed to shut off at about 20%. So that it can, kind of not completely deplete the battery and then start charging back up once the sun's out again. But we're not even getting near that mark. So I really can't say a lot of negative things about this. When I first tossed it in the pool, it kind of just started going up and down the center. And when it would get close to the edge, like it wouldn't get within 2 feet of the side of my pool. And I was like, if that's not gonna get any closer to the edge, that's really what I wanted this for, is to kind of help keep the edges of my pool clean. The way my pool is shaped, and it's one of the best way, like rectangular shaped pools, so the corners just stay filthy all the time. But once it ran for a little bit, it started getting up right next to the wall, and I've not noticed anything in the corners of my pool. The walls have stayed much cleaner. Now I'm using this in conjunction with the Scuba S1, which cleans the bottom and the walls. And I do feel like that's helped out the walls, but I've only ran that like twice now, and this has kind of been taking care of everything else. So for me, I feel like the top of the pool is kind of the initial problem a lot of times, especially when I mow grass. But a lot of things just gather on that top, they gather in the corners, and then eventually they sink to the bottom, and then you just got a dirty pool. I've got to say, throughout the week, this has done an amazing job keeping the top of the pool clean, and my pool has really never been cleaner. So a couple things that I really liked about this model: the dual charging, as I said, the wheels along the edge, which most of them have that, I feel like, but this one I'd seen a lot of people said it was able to really get closer to the edge, and it did seem like the way it was built, that the actual like funnel here, or whatever you want to call the back section, is closer to the edge here. And I've watched a lot of things just kind of work its way into here. As this is spinning, it's creating a suction, and things that are along the wall will just kind of get sucked into there. So it does a really good job at that. And then the other thing is, I have pool stairs. This does have these buttons on the side here that kind of pop these things down. So that will keep this from getting stuck on those stairs. As it comes up, if it hits the stairs, then it will just kind of back off. So I'm hoping it will get as close as possible to those stairs, but not get hung up all the time. One of the other major factors with this model for me, or this unit in particular, is just the way people said that this basket in here has this little flap that when this thing turns around, this flap kind of goes up. So as this thing starts to back up, that comes up, and that keeps all or most, I would say, but I feel like it does a really good job of keeping your junk from floating back out. Some of the original models of these things, I know I've seen people say that every time it turns around, your stuff just kind of falls out. The stuff that's collected in the basket just kind of comes back out. So as this turns, the water kind of pulls this flap up and it keeps all of your junk inside. One of the other things about this that's pretty cool, I don't actually use the chlorine tabs myself, but ooh, and there's junk in there, so apparently I need to clean it. Make sure and open this up and clean this out when you're spraying this out, apparently. But you can put one of the 3-inch chlorine tabs in here, close it up, and then it has an adjustment down here so you can adjust how much of the chlorine is being distributed. And then as this thing works its way around the pool, it will distribute your chlorine for you. One of the other really cool things about this unit is it has an app. You can download the app to your phone. You can pull it up, connect to this thing. I was able to connect to this from inside my house while it's in the pool running. Basically, it just lets you check the battery life. You can see what sort of runtime how long this thing's been cleaning. So if you run it for 30 hours straight, like it's going to tell you it's been running for 30 hours. So that's pretty cool. Really, I just use it to check the battery life. And then it does have a remote control that you can use. Now, I haven't really played with that much. We'll try that in a little bit. But you can just kind of control this if you want to drive it around. But in my opinion, it does a good enough job on its own. I'm not going to be out there driving it around. The whole goal for me is to not have to mess with it, right? Toss it in, let it do its thing while I'm doing other things.
Still going strong, guys. That's crazy. All right, so I checked this. I tossed it in last night about 9 p.m. It's now 7:15 a.m. I checked the battery life, and we are at 72% battery. So this thing ran all night long on 25% of the battery, basically. Hard to believe. I figured this would be down in the 30 to 40%, maybe 50% battery life left by morning. But no, it's not even close to shutting down. So we've got the sun out now, and we're going to start hopefully charging back up a bit. The pool is looking really good, as you can probably see. Hopefully you can see. At night is when a lot of bugs really get on the top of this pool. So I thought I'm going to let it run all night, just see what it picks up. So we're going to take this thing out, see how much junk we've got in the basket, even though overall, when I tossed this in here last night, the pool looked great. Like, it doesn't really look like there's much on the surface, but I do know that as the night goes on, lots of bugs normally gather on the surface of this thing. So we're gonna check it out, see what we've picked up. So maybe it's me, but this guy is not. Okay, so I was like, how does this thing turn off? Okay, so you hold the button down until it beeps and let off. I thought if I just continued holding it, these lights would go out, but you'll see if you just continue to hold it, it just keeps beeping. So I was like, turn off. So just hold the button down until it beeps once, and then it should be off. I want you guys to see the crud. You can already see all the pollen and stuff there, it looks like. So let's pull this up out of here. Oh, that's good for it, right? Look at all of that. So for the pool looking very clean to begin with, that's quite a bit of junk. Just not as many bugs as I expected, honestly. But as you've seen, the pool's clean. It's not like there's bugs on it to be had, really. So we didn't collect a ton of bugs overnight. This is just like some really fine stuff. There was not big clumps of this in the pool. So this is really fine stuff that just kind of came together in the basket, I guess. So very cool that we're getting all of that nasty junk out of the pool while doing nothing. All right, back to work. Your break's over. You got a long day ahead of you. One thing to note about this is I don't think I've ever came in 10, 12 hours later and this skimmer had nothing in it. Like, there's absolutely nothing in there. So the work this is putting in is cutting down on the work that the pump is having to do. This is a large pool.
a lot of area. Without the skimmer, there was a lot of junk on it. Even with the skimmer in the corners, there's still a lot of stuff that collects because it's a massive area, and getting the water to work and skim to this one center point doesn't always work well. If you're gonna get one of these, I don't know that it's worth cutting the side of your pool for this. That was a bit of a job, and luckily it's not leaking. Okay, it's set out here all winter. I took the cover off, disconnected the hose, left all of this, everything here throughout the winter. Obviously I drained the water down past it, and it's been fine. No leakage at all. You can see where I caulked and stuff in the beginning, but I didn't have to add anything to it this year, so thankfully that's working. But if you're gonna get one of these, I don't think I would bother with that. Here we are. This is like day 3 of running 24/7 off of solar power only. The first 2-3 days I would just kind of take it out at night, take it in, but I've only charged it off of the wall charger, the initial charge. Since then I've just been letting it run throughout the day and kind of getting the solar charge and then taking it in, giving it a break. But we've now been in here for 3 days running non-stop 24/7. I just left it in here running through the night. I just come in this morning, it's about 7:30 a.m. So we're gonna check and see what our battery percentage is. See how much junk we got in this basket, because I haven't cleaned the basket in about 3 days either. Give it a little break while we're doing that, and then I'm gonna be mowing grass today, so we're definitely going to fire it back up while I'm mowing, because I get tons and tons of grass and junk in this pool while I'm mowing. So I'm curious to see how clean it can keep it. How well does it work while I work? So let's check our basket, see what we got. All right, so we pulled this out. Actually, it's been sitting out here for a few minutes. I had a few things I had to go do. Oh my gosh, wow. So a lot of the fine stuff, which is really cool to me that it's picking up that fine of, you can see those tiny little bugs. Those are tiny little bugs. They're actually moving around in there. I don't know if you can tell that or not. But we get those tiny little bugs on the pool, obviously. And this thing is picking them up. I mean, geez, look at that. Oh, that's nasty. They are all over this thing. All up in here. So all of that would have been in the pool. So this is one of the things I love about this. It's just this hard basket. It's hard shell basket, something you can hold on to, something that holds its shape, really. One thing about the corded rover that I have is it just has a big, like, looks like a big set of tighty-whitey underwear as a bag, and you have to like take the bag out, and then you're trying to hold it, and it's just a pain really to clean out. This is pretty simple. Hey, you guys like my blonde grass here? So he gets no breaks, right back in. There it goes again. We're gonna start a new cycle. So this guy has been running for 92 hours now. No joke, I just left it in here. We've been busy the last week or so. And I finally got the stairs in, so we're gonna see how it does around the stairs and stuff. But this has been in here for 92 hours without cleaning. So we're gonna check this basket and just see how much crud we've got in here. All right, here we go. Moment of truth after 92 hours. If I can work it with one hand here. That's a lot of junk to pull off the top of the pool. Even got a stick in there. That's just amazing. So this is the kind of grass buildup and just junk that I would have in the pool every single time I mow. And I'm not exaggerating at all, every time I mow. It's usually pretty windy at our house, and it just collects a lot of grass. It's a large area. That grass flies through the air, and it collects a lot of grass. Now, I'll put this clip in here of this thing running
as I was mowing. Obviously this is sped up, but I wanted to show you kind of the pattern this thing takes, because I honestly, just watching it, felt like it didn't get around the edges a lot. But, you know, if you're standing there watching it for 5-10 minutes, like, you're just going to see a little bit of what it's doing. So this is over a span of a couple hours while I'm mowing the grass, and you'll see how much this thing's actually working the outer edge. I was pretty surprised with it. Now, it takes some odd, angles at times and just kind of does what it does, but it did do a really good job getting around the edges and the corners. And I'm going to say, after running this thing for a couple months through the summer, I have never had less issue with buildup in the corners of my pool. I've never had my pool stay as clean. I've never used as little chlorine as I have this summer. Now, if you guys have a pool, you know how finicky they are. Chlorine, I mean, maybe it's been weather, maybe it's been whatever, but it's been a combination of this and the scuba, I believe, just really keeping all of that junk from settling to the bottom and just sitting there and just building up. I mean, this is the absolute best money I have ever spent on a pool, without a doubt. To be 100% honest with you, if this thing only lasted me this one summer, I feel like it would be worth the money that I spent on it, because it has saved me so much work. I have never once had to go out there with a skimmer and skim the pool, try to vac the pool. I'm using the scuba as well in conjunction with this, and it does a really good job as well, and I'm going to try to do a review on that later. But it does leave a little bit of stuff here and there, but then when you get in the pool and you stir it around, your filter kind of takes care of some of that stuff. So, I mean, I've been pretty impressed with it as well, but using these two together, I have absolutely did nothing to this pool myself. It's been 100% maintenance free for me, besides taking these things out, spraying them out, tossing them back in. And I will leave this little skimmer here going for a week at a time. At this point, I'll just let the thing run for at least 4 or 5 days, go out there and pull it out. Or if the kids get in the pool, sometimes, they jump in. I always take it out when they get in the pool. So I'll usually try to spray it out if I take it out of the pool. But man, I'm telling you, if you're debating on one of these, just buy it. It's the best thing you can get for your pool right now. I 100% stand behind this one. I mean, longevity, how long is it going to last? We'll see. But I've had zero issues with it. I never charge it. I let it run off of the solar power, and it runs all night, charges up the next day. We've had cloudy days, we've had stormy days, we've had windy days. You'll see in this clip here, the wind was pretty strong, and I was worried if this thing would actually be able to go against the wind in the pool, because, I mean, we get some strong winds, and it does fine. It slows it down a little bit, but it still makes its way across the pool and does what it needs to do. I've actually been running this for about a month and a half now, and it's been excellent. I have the stairs in here now. As you can see, we've got a float that just kind of stays out here, and this thing just kind of works its way around all of it. It has gotten stuck in that corner right there once. These stairs, I'm terrible. I haven't actually screwed them in right here, so they move around. So it got into that spot, that exact spot, and kind of got wedged in there against that rail and just got stuck. I think it looks like it's going to work its way out of there now, but we may have just witnessed it getting stuck again. I don't know. But the cool thing was, it actually alerted me on the app and said that it was stuck and it needed my assistance. So I seen it pop up on my phone. I came out here and helped it get out of that exact spot right there, and then it was good to go. So we're gonna see if it kind of works its way out of that. It looks like it's maybe gonna get it eventually, but that is a corner that it seems to not like so much. But all in all, this is the best money I've spent on this pool, 100%. That thing and the rover that is in the bottom somewhere right now,
100% the best money I've ever put into this pool because it saves me so much work. You'll also notice how it's really getting down along that edge of the pool really well. When I first started using this, I was kind of worried that it wasn't going to get very close to the edges, and it's really just did an excellent job. I'm actually blown away by how clean it's keeping the top of the pool. You'll see there's quite a bit of junk in the bottom. I haven't ran the rover in the bottom there in probably a good week and a half, maybe 2. So I need to run that more, honestly, to keep the bottom a little cleaner. But the top is staying perfect, and the skimmer basket literally gets nothing in it now because that thing is taking care of all of it.
Here you'll see it was approaching the stairs and it realized there was an obstacle there. It just kind of backs itself up, turns around, and goes about cleaning as it was. You'll also notice it doesn't lose anything out of the basket that it's already collected. This thing just absolutely works perfectly.
So in the end, I'm gonna say some of the best money I've spent on the pool. Honestly, when we got this pool, I fought those like little skimmer basket things that come with the Intex or Best Way type pools. You guys know they hang on the wall. I've fought those for years. And you know, the kids would get in the pool and be bouncing the water around, and I would go out the next day and the basket's just like floating in the middle of the pool. It's doing nothing. The thing's always just a pain. So when we got this pool, I cut the wall skimmer in. But to be honest, if I had known about these, I probably would have just gave this a shot and never even bothered with that. I feel like this would take care of it, let the pool pump run like it normally does, and this just eat up anything on top. So I absolutely love this thing. It's cleaning the pool 24/7. I don't have to do it. You know, I can mow the grass, I can do the other things that I got to do, and don't have to go bother with the pool. You know, when I get done mowing, I don't have to go clean all that grass out of there. Constantly cleaning the filter, worried about the skimmer basket. Nope. It's super lightweight, very easy to take in and out of the pool. I usually just kind of wait for it to work its way to the edge. Just kind of lift it up like this, power it off, let your water kind of start to drain out of it, pick it up out of the pool, you're good. The basket comes in and out very easily. It's easy to clean out. Really, it's just that good. So I do plan to hopefully do a long-term review on this, maybe after this full year of pool use, see how the battery's holding up and that sort of thing. But at the moment, I'm gonna say go get one of these while they're on sale. So I'll link it in the description. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. Until next time, peace.